I thought I'd forgotten how to feel anything, until the night a nurse with tired eyes and a worn smile handed me a cup of coffee and unknowingly changed my life. I was a broken single dad, raising my daughter in the shadow of loss, but what started as kindness became something I never expected: hope, love, and a second chance at life. Do you believe that some people are sent to heal the parts of us we thought were gone forever? If yes, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Daddy, it hurts. I can't breathe. Those were the first words that dragged me out of sleep tonight. I shot up, heart pounding, and ran straight to Emma's room. Her little hands clutched her chest, eyes wide with panic. It's okay, baby, it's okay. Just breathe with me, all right? My voice trembled more than hers. I reached for the inhaler, my fingers fumbling. One puff, then another. She tried, coughed, gasped. Does it still hurt? I whispered. She nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. I didn't think. I just grabbed my keys, wrapped her in a blanket, and ran to the car. The rain was merciless, slamming against the windshield, drowning out every sound except Emma's ragged breaths. My heart raced faster than the wipers. Stay with me, sweetheart. Daddy's here. She looked so small in the rear-view mirror, clutching her stuffed bear like it could keep her alive. By the time we reached the hospital, my hands were shaking too hard to unbuckle her seatbelt. I yelled for help before I even made it through the door. A nurse rushed over, calm but quick. Asthma attack. Yes, please, she can't. Got her, the nurse said, taking Emma gently from my arms. Follow me. I did, because what else could I do? They placed an oxygen mask over Emma's face. I stood frozen, helpless, watching her chest rise and fall, finally steady again. My knees went weak. Breathe, the nurse said softly. To me this time, she's okay. You did the right thing. Her voice was steady, low, and warm, like she'd seen panic 1,000 times and still knew how to quiet it. She checked Emma's vitals, whispered something reassuring to her, then looked at me. You look like you haven't slept in a while, she said. I almost laughed. Couple of years, maybe. Her eyes softened. That long, huh? Yeah, since the accident. The words scraped my throat on the way out. She didn't ask for details, just nodded. She's stable now. You can sit with her. I sat. Emma's tiny hand clutched my sleeve even in sleep. I stroked her hair back, my chest tightening. It's been 2 years since that night. 2 years since I woke to the sound of shattering glass, since I found my wife's car crushed against a guardrail. 2 years since the world went silent, except for Emma's cries and the echo of my own guilt. Everyone told me it wasn't my fault, but they weren't there. They didn't see her text before she crashed. I'm sorry for the fight. I never texted back. Now I live on coffee, night shifts, and the fragile rhythm of Emma's laughter. Everything else, gone. Until tonight. When the nurse came back, Emma was sleeping soundly. I finally noticed her name tag. Lena, thank you, I said quietly. She smiled, tired but sincere. She's a brave little girl. Takes after her dad, I guess. Not sure about that. I rubbed my eyes. I just try not to fall apart in front of her. That's still brave, she said. Kids don't need perfect parents. They just need love. Her words hit deeper than she probably meant. You have kids? I asked. She shook her head. No, but I take care of a lot of people who do. Some days I wonder who takes care of them. I looked at her then, really looked. Her uniform was neatly pressed, but her eyes had the same exhaustion I saw in the mirror every morning. Long night. I asked. She smiled faintly. Always. Thank you for staying with her. That's my job. Still, I said, you didn't have to care. I think we all need someone who still does. For the first time in a long while, something inside me shifted. A quiet, unfamiliar warmth. When Emma finally woke, she looked around the room and saw Lena. Are you an angel? She whispered. Lena laughed softly. No, sweetheart. Just a nurse. You sound like Mommy, Emma said sleepily. Lena froze for half a second, then smiled again. Then your mommy must have been kind. She was, I said. My voice cracked. Emma turned to me. Daddy, can she be our friend? Lena's cheeks flushed. Maybe we'll see each other again, okay? Emma nodded, already drifting back to sleep. I helped Lena collect her clipboard. You really were amazing tonight, I told her. She looked at me for a long moment. You're doing better than you think, you know. Doesn't feel like it. Maybe that's how healing starts, she said. When it doesn't feel like it, but you keep showing up anyway. She walked away after that, down the hallway, her shoes squeaking faintly against the sterile floor. And for some reason, I couldn't stop watching her go. When the nurse station lights dimmed, I sat by Emma's bed, tracing the lines of her little fingers. The steady beep of the monitor matched the beat of my heart. I thought of Lena's words again. You look like you haven't slept in a while. She was right. But for the first time in years, I didn't want to sleep. I wanted to remember her voice. I couldn't get her voice out of my head. You look like you haven't slept in a while. It had been a week since that night, and I still heard it, soft, tired, almost too kind for someone like me. Then Emma started coughing again. It began as a sniffle, turned into wheezing by morning. Daddy, I can't breathe good, she whispered, clutching her little chest. My heart dropped. We're going, baby. Just hold on. I threw on my jacket, grabbed her blanket, and we were back in that same emergency room before sunrise. Room 5, the receptionist said, without looking up. When we entered, Emma's eyes lit up. Daddy, it's the angel nurse. And there she was. Lena. Same tired smile, same calm eyes. Well, look who's back, she said gently. Emma, right? Emma nodded. You remembered me. How could I forget? Lena crouched beside her, checking the monitor. You gave me my favorite patient smile last time. Emma grinned through the mask. I watched them talk, warmth spreading in a place I thought had frozen over. You working another long shift? I asked. She sighed. Yeah, double today. The night nurse called in sick, so here I am, powered by bad coffee and good intentions. I chuckled softly. You make it sound heroic. Hardly, just tired. She handed Emma a cartoon sticker. You like bears or stars? Bears, Emma said. Lena peeled one off and stuck it on her sleeve. Now you're officially brave. Emma beamed. When Lena turned away, I noticed the sleeve of her uniform, frayed near the cuff, like it had been washed too many times. Her sneakers were faded gray, soles worn thin. She caught me looking. Don't judge, she said, half smiling. These shoes have survived more night shifts than I can count. Wasn't judging, I said, just thinking you work too hard. Maybe. Rent doesn't pay itself, though. You live nearby? Small apartment. I share it with my younger sister. She's in college. I cover the bills until she graduates. Something in her voice, pride mixed with exhaustion, hit me harder than I expected. I nodded. You sound like you're holding the world together. She laughed lightly. It feels more like duct tape and hope. Emma giggled. Duct tape strong. Exactly, Lena said. Smart girl. When Emma dozed off, Lena sat on the edge of the bed charting notes. You mentioned your wife, she said quietly. Last time. I froze. Yeah. I didn't mean to pry. It's okay. I exhaled. She passed away 2 years ago. Car accident. Emma was only 5. Lena's pen stopped moving. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I said, staring at the monitor lights. She used to drive that same road every night. I told her to be careful. She texted me before it happened. I never answered. Silence stretched between us. Then Lena said softly, You can't live inside a single moment forever. She wouldn't want that. I looked at her, searching her face. You sound like someone who's lost something too. Her eyes flickered down. Maybe I have. She didn't explain. I didn't ask. Somehow, it felt right not to. Later, when the room quieted, I brought her a coffee from the vending machine. It's terrible, I warned. She took a sip. You're right. It's awful. We both laughed. Quietly, the kind of laugh that felt like breathing again. Still, she said, Thanks. It's nice when someone remembers you're human. I know that feeling, I murmured. She glanced at me, then at Emma, who was sleeping peacefully now. You're doing okay, you know. Doesn't feel like it most days. It never does, she said. But look at her. She's safe, loved, cared for. That's more than okay. Her words stayed with me long after she left the room to check another patient. By the time we were discharged, morning sunlight had crept through the blinds. Emma stretched, yawning. Daddy, can we say bye to Nurse Lena? She's probably resting, I said. But just as we walked toward the exit, she appeared, still in the same worn sneakers, stifling a yawn. You're heading home? She asked. Yeah. Thanks again for everything. Take care of yourself, too, she said. You look like you still haven't slept. I smiled faintly. Maybe next week. She grinned. I'll believe it when I see it. Emma tugged on my sleeve as we walked out. Daddy, she looks lonely. I looked back once more, Lena leaning against the counter, rubbing her eyes, the morning light catching in her hair. Yeah, I whispered, maybe she is. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of nightmares, because for the first time in years, someone else's exhaustion felt heavier than mine. And maybe Emma was right. Maybe the angel nurse needed saving too. I couldn't stop thinking about what Emma said that night. Daddy, she looks lonely. Maybe she was right. Maybe we both were. A week later, I found myself parked outside the hospital again. No emergency this time. Just me, the rain, and 2 cups of terrible vending machine coffee cooling in my hands. What was I even doing here? Waiting for someone who barely knew me? Or maybe someone who somehow did. The door slid open, and there she was, Lena, stepping out into the gray morning, her hair tied up, eyes half awake. She looked surprised when she saw me. Hey, she said, pulling her jacket tighter. You're not here for another hospital run, are you? I held out a cup. No, just figured you might need this. She blinked, smiling softly. You remember my caffeine addiction? Kinda hard to forget. She took it, fingers brushing mine, cold, delicate, but steady. You didn't have to, you know. Yeah, I said, but I wanted to. We stood under the awning, rain coming down hard just a few feet away. Cars splashed by, their headlights reflecting in puddles. She took a sip, then grimaced. Still terrible. Told you, I said. She laughed, that quiet. Tired laugh I'd missed more than I should have. After a moment, I asked, You ever get a real day off? She sighed. Once a month, if I'm lucky. I pick up extra shifts. My sister's still in school. Rent doesn't exactly pay itself. Must be hard. It is, she said. But she's worth it. She's a smart one. I just keep the lights on. There was something in her voice, tired, but proud. I hesitated. You ever think about doing something else? Something for yourself? Yeah, she said quietly. I wanted to go back to school. Maybe study abroad. Specialize. But that's not really in the budget. I looked at her shoes. Same ones. Worn at the edges, soaked from the rain. You always put yourself last, huh? She shrugged. Someone has to. I'm used to it. For a second, I saw my wife in her. Same selflessness, same tired strength. And that realization hit me like a punch to the chest. I looked away. What are you doing, man? You can't. Hey, she said, nudging me with her elbow. You went quiet on me. Just thinking. Dangerous habit. Yeah, seems to get me in trouble. The rain fell harder, like the sky was trying to drown the silence between us. You know, she said suddenly, my sister's wedding's coming up next month. I promised I'd go, but... Her voice trailed off. But what? I don't even have a dress. She chuckled softly. Feels silly, doesn't it? Working this hard and still not being able to buy one thing that's just mine. I swallowed, not sure what to say. You deserve to have something nice. She smiled without meeting my eyes. Maybe someday. There was something about the way she said it. Half a joke, half a confession. Does your sister know? I asked. She'd worry. I don't want that. You ever let anyone worry about you? She looked at me, rain mist in the air between us. You shouldn't ask questions you already know the answer to. She was right. I knew that look, the one that hides pain behind a practiced smile. I wore it every day. She finished her coffee and tossed the cup into the bin. Thanks for this. You didn't have to show up. I know, I said, but I wanted to see how you were doing. She laughed softly. You're either really kind or really bad at boundaries. Maybe both. That made her laugh again, real this time, head tilted back, rain catching on her lashes. When she stopped, she looked at me. Maybe someday, someone will take me on a real date. No scrubs, no exhaustion, just something normal. I don't know what came over me, but the words slipped out before I could stop them. Maybe that someone could be me. The rain seemed to go quiet for a moment. She blinked, a small smile tugging at her lips. You serious? I felt my heart thud. Yeah, I think I am. She shook her head, still smiling, eyes soft but guarded. You really don't make this easy, do you? Not trying to. She looked down at her coffee cup, then back up at me. We'll see, she said. Maybe next time, bring better coffee. Deal. As she walked away, I stood there, rain soaking through my jacket, wondering if I just made a mistake or taken the first real breath in 2 years. The words were out before I could stop them. Maybe that someone could be me. Lena froze. The rain pattered between us, soft and rhythmic, like the world was holding its breath. I felt my face heat. I didn't mean it like... She tilted her head, half smiling. You didn't. I mean, I did. I sighed, rubbing the back of my neck. I'm out of practice at whatever that was. Her laughter broke through the rain. You don't say. I swear I used to be better at this. I'm not sure I believe that, she said, eyes teasing but warm. But I'll give you credit for honesty. So is that a yes? To what? Dinner. Tomorrow night. She hesitated, biting her lip. You're serious? Completely? Her smile softened. All right, she said quietly. After my shift. And just like that, something inside me, something that had been sleeping for years, woke up again. The next evening, I stood in front of the mirror with Emma sitting cross-legged on the bed behind me. You look weird, she said. Thanks, kiddo. That's helpful. I mean, you look nervous. I'm not nervous. You've changed your shirt 3 times. Okay, maybe a little nervous. I tried to fix my collar, but Emma jumped up and smacked my hands away. Here, she said, straightening it with both hands. Now you look like someone going on a date. Emma, I warned. It's totally a date. I stared at her, and she giggled, her missing tooth showing. You like her? I exhaled. She's kind. Mom was kind too, she said softly. But it's okay if someone else is daddy. That one sentence nearly broke me. I hugged her tight until she squirmed away, laughing. When Lena arrived, I almost forgot how to breathe. She wore a simple gray dress, her hair loose, damp from the drizzle, the same worn shoes, but she still looked beautiful. Not in the polished, movie way. In the real, fragile way that makes you want to stare too long. You clean up nice, I said. She laughed. That's generous. I meant it. She glanced at my shirt. And you don't look half bad yourself. Emma's handiwork, I said. She's got good taste. We walked toward a little diner a few blocks away. Cheap but quiet, the kind of place with red booths and music older than both of us. Coffee or something stronger? I asked once we sat down. Coffee, she said. If I start drinking anything stronger after my shift, I'll fall asleep face first in the plate. Fair. The waitress poured 2 cups and left. Lena leaned back, stretching. Feels weird, sitting somewhere that's not a hospital or my apartment. Yeah, I know that feeling. She smiled. So, tell me something not sad. I thought for a second. Emma tried to convince me her stuffed bear talks when I'm not home. Lena laughed. What does he say? That I should do her chores for her. She almost choked on her coffee. Smart kid. She gets that from her mom, I said without thinking. The word slipped out, and for a moment, I regretted it. But Lena didn't flinch. She must have been wonderful, she said gently. She was, I murmured, and loud, and stubborn. But yeah, wonderful. Silence settled between us. Not heavy, just real. Then Lena said, "You know what I think?" "What?" "You don't give yourself enough credit. You're doing this. Being a dad, surviving, showing up. That's not easy. Sometimes it doesn't feel like enough. It is." Her eyes met mine, steady, calm, and for a moment, the noise of the diner faded. We talked until the waitress started wiping down the counter for closing. About music, night shifts, how she dreams of studying abroad. "I need money I don't have," she said, "and time I can't afford." "You'll get there," I said. She smiled. "You sound sure." "I am." When we walked outside, the air smelled like rain and streetlights reflected in puddles. She crossed her arms, shivering slightly. "Here," I said, slipping off my jacket. She shook her head. "No, I'm fine." "Take it," I insisted. "You'll just argue and lose anyway." That earned me a real laugh. Bossy. Protective. She slipped it on. It looked too big and somehow perfect. When we reached her car, she hesitated. "I almost didn't come tonight," she admitted. "Why not?" "I thought I wasn't good enough. Not for this. Not for you." I swallowed hard. "You are. You always were." For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then she smiled faintly, eyes glistening under the streetlight. "Good night, then," she whispered. "Good night, Lena." As she drove away, I caught my reflection in the diner window, smiling, really smiling, for the first time in years. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty for it. I couldn't get her words out of my head. I thought I wasn't good enough. For days after our dinner, I replayed that night over and over. Her shy laugh, the way she pushed her hair behind her ear when she got nervous, the way she wore that old pair of shoes, pretending not to care. I wanted to see her again, but she was always on shift or running home early. Then one morning, walking Emma to school, I saw it. A red dress in the shop window. Simple, soft. Exactly how Lena had described the one she couldn't afford for her sister's wedding. The one she'd said, half joking, half sad, "Maybe someday." I stopped in front of the glass. Emma tugged at my sleeve. "Daddy, why are we staring at a dress?" "It's for someone," I murmured. Her eyes widened. "For Miss Lena?" I smiled faintly. "Maybe." Emma grinned. "She'll love it." I wish I'd thought about what love really meant before I did what I did next. That evening, after putting Emma to bed, I went back to the shop. The woman behind the counter folded the red dress carefully, tissue paper crinkling around it. "Gift?" she asked. "Something like that." I didn't write a note, didn't sign my name, just had it sent to the hospital locker with her shift tag. I told myself it was kindness, that it would make her smile, but deep down, maybe it was guilt. Maybe I just wanted to feel useful again. 2 nights later, I found her waiting by the hospital exit. Her arms were crossed, and she wasn't smiling. "You bought it." Her voice was quiet, but it hit like thunder. I froze. "How did you—" "The delivery tag," she said. "They said your name." I swallowed hard. "Lena, I didn't mean to." She held up a hand. "You don't understand. I told you why I couldn't take it. I wasn't trying to insult you. It's not about the dress." Her voice cracked just once. "It's about me, about not needing to be someone's project." The hallway light flickered above us. Nurses passed, pretending not to listen. I wanted to say something that would fix it, but everything that came to mind sounded wrong. "I just thought you deserved something nice," I said quietly. Her eyes softened for a heartbeat, then hardened again. "And I thought you understood that I'm not waiting for someone to save me." "I wasn't trying to save you." "Then what were you trying to do?" I didn't have an answer. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. I could hear the faint hum of vending machines, the shuffle of tired footsteps. Finally, I said, "You're right." She blinked. "What?" "I messed up. I wasn't listening. You didn't ask for help, and I acted like you did. I'm sorry." Her shoulders dropped a little. You didn't mean to hurt me. No, but I did. She exhaled slowly. You're kind. Too kind sometimes. But kindness can sting when it feels like pity. I don't pity you, Lena. I know, she said softly. That's what makes this harder. We walked outside together. The night was cold, the air sharp with the smell of rain. She pulled her jacket tighter. I'm not angry, she said finally. I'm just tired of being the one who is less. You're not. She smiled sadly. You really believe that? I've been the one who had less too, I said. After my wife died, people tried to fill the space with gestures, meals, gifts, advice. But what I needed was someone to just sit with me. She looked up. Walk beside you. Exactly. We stood there, silence stretching between us like a fragile thread. I don't know what this is between us, she said, voice trembling slightly. But it scares me. It scares me, too, I admitted. Her eyes glistened. Then maybe we both need time. I nodded, even though it felt like a small kind of loss. Take all the time you need. She gave a faint, grateful smile. Thank you for understanding. I watched her walk away under the streetlight, her shadow long, her steps slow. The red dress never left my mind. It was still hers, still folded somewhere, waiting. A few quiet days passed. The house felt heavier somehow. Emma noticed first. Daddy? She asked one night, sitting at the table with her crayons. Yeah. She looked up, her voice small. Miss Lena isn't coming back to the hospital. I froze. What do you mean? Her friend said she left. She didn't say goodbye. Something in my chest went hollow. I tried to answer, but the words didn't come. Emma reached across the table and took my hand. She'll come back, right? I squeezed her hand gently. I don't know, sweetheart. But in that moment, with the empty quiet pressing in, I realized something. Maybe the red dress wasn't the only thing I couldn't take back. Emma's words echoed in my head all night. Miss Lena isn't coming back to the hospital. I didn't want to believe her. I told myself maybe Lena just switched shifts. Maybe she needed space. Maybe anything but gone. But a week passed. Then two. No calls. No messages. Nothing. Every time I dropped Emma off at school, I caught myself glancing toward the hospital across the street, half expecting to see her walking out, that tired smile under the streetlights. She never did. Life fell back into its old rhythm, the kind that feels like sleepwalking. Work, bills, groceries, bedtime stories. I laughed when Emma laughed. I smiled when people asked how I was. But something was missing. Not something. Someone. I'd gotten used to her voice. Her soft way of saying my name. The way she cared for Emma like it was second nature. And now the silence where she used to be, it was unbearable. That evening, the sky cracked open with thunder. Rain poured so hard the window shuddered. Emma pressed her face to the glass, wide-eyed. Daddy, it's scary. I walked over, brushing her hair back. It's just a storm, baby. She pointed outside. Someone's there. I frowned and looked out. The streetlights flickered through the rain. At first, I thought she was mistaken. But then, there by the hospital gate, a figure stood, soaked to the bone. My chest tightened. It was her. Lena? I whispered before I even realized it. Daddy, is that her? Stay here, I said quickly, grabbing my jacket. Don't open the door for anyone but me. The rain hit like needles as I ran across the street. The wind howled, cold and merciless. She was leaning against the gate, hair plastered to her face, arms wrapped around herself. Lena! She looked up, startled, her eyes red and tired. What are you doing out here? I shouted over the rain. Her lips trembled. I didn't know where else to go. I pulled her into the awning shelter. You're freezing. Come inside. She shook her head weakly. I can't. I shouldn't. Stop, I said, slipping my jacket over her shoulders. You're shaking. Her voice broke. I lost my apartment. My sister's sick. The bills. I tried to handle it, but everything fell apart. She pressed her palms to her face. I didn't want you to see me like this. I wanted to say 100 things, but all that came out was, you should have called me. I didn't want pity. It's not pity. I stopped searching for words. It's care. Her eyes filled with tears again. I don't know how to accept that anymore. I took her hand, cold, trembling. Then let me remind you. The drive home was quiet, except for the rain hitting the windshield. She kept her face turned toward the window, as if ashamed to be seen. When I parked, she whispered, I can't stay long. Just until the storm passes, I said. She hesitated at the doorway, like she didn't believe she deserved to step inside. Then Emma's voice came running from the hall. Miss Lena. Lena froze. Emma ran straight into her, wrapping tiny arms around her soaked legs. You came back. Emma squealed, looking up at her with pure joy. Lena tried to smile, but her lips quivered. Hey, sweetheart, I missed you. Daddy said you were gone forever. I shot Emma a look, but Lena just laughed weakly. I almost was. I handed her a towel. Sit. I'll make some tea. The house felt different, warmer, even with the storm pounding outside. Lena sat on the couch, clutching the mug, her fingers shaking around it. Her eyes darted toward the family photos on the wall. Me, Emma, and the woman we'd lost. I shouldn't be here, she whispered. It feels like I'm intruding. You're not, I said quietly. You're welcome here. Her eyes filled again. Why are you so kind to me? I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. Because I've been where you are. And someone once told me it's okay to need help. She looked at me, really looked. You lost her, didn't you? I nodded. 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I smiled faintly. Don't be. She'd want me to be the kind of man who helps someone in the rain. Lena's breath caught, and she whispered, You already are. Emma climbed onto the couch beside her. You can stay with us, Miss Lena. Daddy makes pancakes in the morning. Lena laughed through her tears. Does he? Burns half of them, Emma said proudly. But they still taste good. I groaned. Thanks for that, kiddo. Lena smiled, a real one this time. I'd like that. Pancakes, Then it's settled, I said. She looked down at her hands. Just for tonight. Just for tonight, I repeated. But when she followed Emma down the hall to the guest room, I realized something had changed. Her footsteps didn't sound like a visitor's. They sounded like someone coming home. That night, I stood at the doorway, watching Emma fall asleep beside Lena, her little hand curled around Lena's arm. The thunder rolled outside, but the house felt still, peaceful. For the first time in years, it didn't feel like just my house anymore. It felt like ours. The storm ended the next morning, but Lena didn't leave. I woke up to the smell of something frying in the kitchen. For a second, my half-asleep brain thought I was dreaming, until I heard Emma's giggles. Flip it now. Flip it. Lena's voice followed, soft and laughing. You're the boss, Chef Emma. Here we go. I almost dropped it. Emma squealed. Daddy drops them all the time. I groaned as I walked in. You're betraying me already? They both turned toward me, smiling like the sun had followed the storm inside. Good morning, Lena said, holding out a plate. One not burned pancake, just for you. I took it, pretending to inspect it. I might have to hire you full time. Emma gasped. You mean she can stay forever? Lena froze for a second, eyes darting toward me. I forced a smile. We'll see, kiddo. Days turned into weeks. Lena never said she was staying. She just didn't leave. She helped Emma with homework, cooked simple dinners, and left little sticky notes on the fridge that said things like, buy milk, and once, don't forget to smile today. Sometimes I caught her humming while washing dishes. Some tune I didn't recognize. Sometimes she'd fall asleep on the couch after a late shift, still in her scrubs, Emma's blanket thrown over her shoulders. She wasn't replacing anyone. She wasn't trying to. She was just being herself. And somehow that was enough. One evening, Emma was drawing at the table while Lena folded laundry. Miss Lena, Emma said, are you married? Lena laughed softly. No, sweetheart. Why not? Because I haven't met someone brave enough to deal with me yet. Emma looked at me. Daddy's brave. I choked on my coffee. Emma, Lena blushed and smiled at the same time. Your daddy has his hands full already. Not really, Emma said, pretending to think. He just burns pancakes and works too much. Lena laughed again. I shook my head. You're both ganging up on me now. The truth was, I didn't mind. Their laughter filled spaces I didn't even know were still empty. Later that night, after Emma had fallen asleep, I found Lena outside on the porch, a mug of tea in her hands. The air was cool, the moonlight soft. Can't sleep? I asked. She smiled faintly. You either. I leaned on the railing beside her. It's strange. The house feels different lately. In a bad way? In a good way, I said. Alive. She looked down into her mug. Emma's special. She's got this way of making people feel needed. She got that from her mom. Lena glanced at me carefully. You don't talk about her much. I nodded slowly. It used to hurt too much. But lately, it feels different, like the memories stop being sharp edges. That's good, she said softly. It means you're healing. I studied her face in the moonlight. Tired eyes, faint freckles, a warmth that had nothing to do with the tea in her hands. I don't know if I deserve to. I admitted, after everything, after shutting down for so long. She set her mug down and turned to face me. You do. You've done more than most people would. You fought, even when you didn't feel like it. I laughed weakly. You make me sound stronger than I am. Maybe you just don't see what others do. For a moment, we just stood there, quiet except for the hum of crickets and the distant ticking of the kitchen clock through the window. Then I said it, the words that had been sitting on my chest for weeks. You saved us more than you'll ever know. Her breath hitched. I didn't do anything special. Yes, you did, I said. You showed up. You stayed. You made Emma laugh again. You made this place feel like a home again. She looked down, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her sweater. You gave me something too, you know. What's that? A reason to stay. My heart stilled for a second. Lena, she smiled, small, real, trembling a little. I was so used to surviving. I forgot what it felt like to just live. We stood there, the silence saying everything words couldn't. A few days later, I came home from work to find Emma and Lena baking together. Flour covered half the counter and most of Lena's hair. Don't look at me, Lena said, laughing. Your daughter is the boss here. Emma held up a lopsided cookie. Taste test. I took a bite and grinned. Perfect. Lena laughed, brushing flour off Emma's nose. For a split second, the image hit me hard, like a flash of something I'd never planned but always needed. A family, the kind you stumble into when you stop running from the past. The following morning, I found an envelope on the kitchen counter. No return address. Just her name on the front, Lena Thompson. She was still asleep on the couch. Emma curled beside her. I made coffee and sat across the room, watching her chest rise and fall with each soft breath. She looked peaceful, happy even, but when she woke and tore open that letter, her face changed. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted. What is it? I asked. She handed it to me with trembling hands. It's the scholarship. Full ride. Overseas. For advanced nursing. I stared at the paper, then at her. That's amazing. She nodded, but her eyes glistened. It is. I didn't think it would come through. Emma sat up, rubbing her eyes. Miss Lena? What's wrong? Lena smiled gently, tears already forming. Nothing, sweetheart. Just something really, really good and a little sad. I felt my heart sink, even as I forced a smile. When do they need your answer? Soon, she whispered. The words echoed like thunder, even though the morning was calm. I looked at her across the kitchen. The same woman who'd walked into our lives by accident and somehow filled the quiet with laughter again. And all I could think was, sometimes the hardest part of loving someone is knowing when to let them go. The kitchen was too quiet after she read that letter. I remember the way the morning light hit her face, soft, golden, almost cruel in how peaceful it looked. Say something, she whispered. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But my throat locked up. The words I should have said, don't go, stay. We need you, that they wouldn't come. Instead, I asked the only thing I could manage. When would you leave? 2 weeks, she said, eyes still on the letter. If I accept. Emma was drawing at the table, humming to herself, unaware that our little world was about to change again. I nodded, pretending to sound steady. It's a big opportunity. It is, Lena said quietly, but it feels like I'm walking away from something real. I tried to smile. You'd regret it if you didn't go. Her eyes met mine, torn, searching. Would you? My chest ached. Every day. That night, after Emma fell asleep, I found Lena sitting outside again, her hair loose, that letter folded on her lap. You haven't packed, I said. I keep hoping you'll tell me not to. I sat beside her, close enough to feel her shiver. You already know what I want to say. Then say it. I stared at the stars, searching for courage. If I asked you to stay, I'd be doing it for me, not for you. And that's not love. Not anymore. She bit her lip, tears glinting in the porch light. You really think I should go? I think you should chase what you work for, I said. You once told me I gave you a reason to stay. Maybe now, it's my turn to give you a reason to fly. She let out a trembling breath, then leaned her head on my shoulder. You make it sound easy. It's not, I said, but sometimes love means letting go, so there's something worth holding on to later. Her fingers found mine, and we sat there in silence, the night heavy with things we couldn't change. The 2 weeks passed in slow motion. Lena tried to keep things normal, helping Emma with homework, folding laundry, laughing at my terrible jokes. But every smile carried a quiet sadness underneath. Emma noticed. Kids always do. Daddy, is Miss Lena sick? She asked one night. No, sweetheart. She's just going to school far away. Emma's eyes widened. But who's going to sing with me at bedtime? I swallowed hard. Maybe we can call her sometimes. She can't stay? I hesitated. She has to go chase her dream. Emma frowned. But we're her dream. That broke me. I hugged her tight and whispered, maybe one day she'll come back. The morning of the flight, the sky was gray. Lena stood by the door with her suitcase, wearing that red dress, the same one from the night she first cooked dinner for us. Seriously? I said, forcing a smile. You're wearing that? She laughed softly. You once said it made the kitchen look brighter. It still does, I said. Emma clung to her leg. Don't go, Miss Lena. Lena knelt down, tears streaming as she cupped Emma's face. I have to, baby, but I'll write to you every week, okay? Emma sniffled. Promise. Promise. When we reached the airport, Lena walked slower than usual. I carried her bag even though she said she could handle it. Some things you just do because you can't do anything else. At the gate, she turned to me, eyes red, smile trembling. You sure you'll be okay? I forced a laugh. Define okay. She touched my face lightly. You're a good man, you know that? I shook my head. I'm just trying not to fall apart. She leaned in and whispered, then don't, not yet. And before I could stop myself, I pulled her close. Her heartbeat pressed against mine, quick, scared, alive. I'll be waiting, I murmured against her hair, no matter how long it takes. Her hands tightened around me. Then I'll find my way back. Then she was gone, just like that, red dress disappearing through the crowd, until all that was left was her scent on my jacket and Emma's small hand clutching mine. The months that followed blurred together. I kept busy. Work, school drop-offs, burnt dinners, bedtime stories. Emma started writing letters, covering them with stickers and hearts. Lena replied every time. Long messages full of hope, laughter, and stories of cold nights in a city that didn't feel like home yet. Sometimes she'd write, I miss the noise of your kitchen. Other times, tell Emma I dreamt she sang to me again. Each letter felt like a heartbeat from miles away. And still, Every morning I checked the mailbox before work, hoping for one that said, "I'm coming home." It was spring when it finally came. The letter was shorter this time. Just 3 words. "I'm coming home." I froze on the porch, sunlight spilling across the page, my heart pounding like I was 20 again. When I told Emma, she screamed, "She's coming back. Today. Soon," I said, smiling through the sting in my eyes. Soon. We baked cookies at night, the same messy kind Lena used to help her make. Emma insisted we leave a plate by the door so it smells like home when she walks in. A week later, I heard the knock. When I opened the door, she was standing there. Same red dress, hair windswept, eyes bright with tears. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. Emma didn't wait. She ran straight into her arms. "Emma," Lena gasped, tears spilling as she hugged her tight. "Hey, baby, oh, I missed you so much." I just stood there, my throat tight, my hands shaking. Lena looked up at me over Emma's shoulder. "Told you I'd find my way back." I stepped forward, voice barely a whisper. "Welcome home." She smiled through tears. "Feels like I never left." And in that moment, standing in the doorway, sunlight pouring in, Emma's laughter filling the air, I realized something. We weren't fixing the past anymore. We were building something new. Not perfect, just real. The family we never planned, and the one I'd wait a lifetime for.